Now this is a story all about how I stole a joke from this guy's show and I'm in college and work in orchestra and I didn't feel like doing this on time because I'm really busy, so cut me some slack. Happy Halloween! And what can go better with the celebration of cheap costumes and endless indigestion? That's right! Body shots! Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. Body shots and video game controversy. Luckily, there's still a vast amount of content that falls into that category, so let's get to it. In 2010, this guy made a game about a witch that a bunch of people liked, decided to make a sequel 2 years later, and ended up causing the biggest gaming community revolution of all time, involving a game about a witch. This game was Bayonetta 2, and get your eyes ready for Assorama, cause it caused
controversy.
Yep, it's another Platinum Games controversy. Regular controversiers will know I did one of their games back in May, the supposed spawn of Satan, Mad World. What's interesting though is that the Bayonetta 2 controversy is actually more similar to the God of War 2 controversy, in that it's not quite what you'd think it'd be about. It wasn't because of its super sexy overtone, it wasn't because of its gratuitous violence, it wasn't even because of the fact it was on a Nintendo console. Wait. Oh yeah, it was because it was on a Nintendo console. You see, the first Bayonetta was published by Sega for the 360 and PS3, so when it was announced that the sequel would be a Nintendo exclusive on the Nintendo Wii U published by Nintendo, fans of the first were a bit pissed off. Now when I first heard about this controversy, I was quick to dismiss it as just another case of pointless fanboy rage and handed it a preliminary 2 sweet asses out of 10. However, after some thinking, it's safe to say that this rage wasn't entirely pointless. For a moment, let's put ourselves in the high-heeled gun shoes of these fans. Do you want to spend $350 on a brand new console just to play the sequel? Well, you should, but obviously that's not going to happen. I could definitely see where these guys are coming from, and for probably the first time on this show, I can speak from personal experience. A long time ago, namely 2012, I played a little DS game called 999. Didn't think too much of it at first, but it became one of the best DS games I've ever played. Later in the year, I played the sequel, Virtue's Last Reward, on my brand new 3DS, and by then I had cemented myself as a Zero Escape fan. Then 2014 came along and I had heard of a new game from the same company that developed it called Danganronpa, whatever it's called. It was called a cross between 999 and the Phoenix Wright games, another one of my favorite visual novel series. To put it briefly, I was one happy boy, until I learned it was only for the goddamn Vita. Screw you, Spike Chunsoft, first this shit and now you will release Zero Escape 3? Go to hell, you stupid shit. I wasn't going to be paying $250 for the system that houses the worst handheld games of all time just for one game, so I can see why these guys would be upset, even though Bayonetta 2's announcement happened a year and a half earlier than dang wrong Apple. I'm actually happy to see this considering how big of a screw up the Mad Thing world was, so this must mean that the controversy is still a good one, right? Hold on. No! In response to this criticism, Platinum had said that Bayonetta 2 would not have existed without Nintendo. To my knowledge, Sega had practically dropped the franchise due to financial troubles, and Bayonetta was left in a ditch with Nintendo the only company willing to bring them out of that ditch. Even though I would have to buy a new console to get this game, I can understand this as well. Everyone else, on the other hand, didn't. And this is where the controversy train comes to a screeching halt. Platinum's statement made the bickering at this point ultimately worthless, so naturally the next course of action would have been these guys shutting up. But the bickering continued, and continued, and continued, and continued. What was once legitimate criticism has now turned into stupid fanboy rage, and like Mad World, I'm rather disappointed. If these guys had been wanting to put the blame on someone, they should have blamed Sega. Again, they had been going through a big financial restructure, but Bayonetta had been one of their most successful games in recent years, so one wouldn't be wrong in assuming that they'd be taking the reins of the second. Ultimately though, this controversy is even more pointless today, as Bayonetta 2 has been highly acclaimed and should sell well on the Wii U. And even though it's on the Wii U, you should get it on the Wii U. I'm sorry, am I being too pretentious towards the Wii U? In that case, get a Wii U, get a Wii U, 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 Wii U. So, that's the gist of this controversy, but oh wait, there's more! People seem to be in debate over the sexy flamboyant portrayal of the main character, Bayonetta. Well, sorry, but I'm not touching that stuff. And here's 3 reasons why. First, this isn't critical hit. Second, any attempt at looking at this in a humorous manner will result in me being called a misogynistic sexist prick, which isn't the worst I've been called. And third, I have better things to do than indulge in this shit. So, in summary, back to the depths of hell with thee, you vile witch! Anyway, instead of the bad score I gave it initially, Bayonetta 2 nets itself 5 sweet asses out of 10. Slightly better than expected, but it still didn't keep itself from joining the mediocrity club, where we're always taking in new members. Once again, happy Halloween, and thank you for watching. And as to when the next controversy comes out,